The Yankees are back on top. World champions for the 27th time. The Lakers repeat back-to-back titles. The LA Lakers. Back to throw Montana. Step left throws. This fight is over. Floyd Mayweather has a knockout victory over Ricky Hatton. Smiling. Oh! He slapped him! Conor McGregor is the new UFC featherweight champion of the world! Oh! Unbelievable!
Put the countdown mic up! Hell no!
Welcome back to Championship Rounds with yours truly, Marcel Pierre. Do me a favor, pound that subscribe button. Be helping me out a lot. I know it's been a while, but look, I've been working 10-hour days, okay? If I could do this for a living, I would pump these bad boys out almost daily. I mean, that's how passionate I am about the sporting world and all the moving parts around pop culture as well. So go ahead and pound that subscribe button for me. And I'm a little late on this. And honestly, I actually fell asleep before the fight. The fight that I'm talking about is Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia. Okay, I fell asleep before the fight, so I didn't see the fight on fight night. No, I saw the fight at work. See, I got online and pulled up the fight in its entirety, made sure I didn't run into anything that told me what the results were or spoiled it for me in any way. And I watched it to myself, and I watched it on mute, so I wasn't swayed by commentary, all right? And I'm going to tell you right now, my opinion of the fight went, hand in hand with the opinion of the pundits that were calling the fight, okay? Because what I saw Errol Spence almost putting on a master class. He was just flat out the busier boxer. And 9 times out of 10, the busier boxer is going to win the fight. The only reason why the busier boxer wouldn't win the fight is if they got knocked down or if they just weren't connecting. They were busy, but they weren't connecting. That wasn't the case Saturday night. No. Errol Spence controlled the fight with his jab, controlled it with his straights, and made many deposits to the body. And all those paid dividends going down the road on the fight round by round. All right. Danny Garcia was game. I'll give him that. He was game, but that jab, and I just dropped my phone. Let me get that. I'm going to need that. Crap, where'd it go? All right. Oh, glad I didn't break it. So anyways, back to what I was saying. That when you get a stiff jab just constantly in your face, it throws off your timing. Like, you can't get in stride. You can't, you can't, get in rhythm. If somebody's throwing you off rhythm with that jab, and also keeping you honest by making all of those deposits to the body like Errol was. So yeah, he walked away with the unanimous decision win. The fight wasn't as spectacular as I thought it was. Although early in the fight, I believe it was about round 4, Danny Garcia uncorked a haymaker that if it would have landed flush, would have probably sent Spence to the canvas. Fortunately for Spence, he was able to get out of the way slightly, so the punch just glanced off of his chin, So Errol Spence, again, unanimous decision win. He made a successful return after, flipping his Ferrari, defended his titles. He's still the unified IBF WBC champ. And I'm just going to go ahead and segue into what I think is next, or what I think should be next. Terence Bud Crawford, in my opinion, the pound for pound best boxer going today. Okay, so let me get my notes up here because I don't want to miss anything. I got a lot of stuff to get to today, It's been a while. Just give me 1 second here. All right. Like I said, Terence Bud Crawford, he's that guy right now. Okay? I don't hate on Errol Spence. Errol Spence, unified champion, undefeated. You know what I mean? The man is a great boxer. Of course I respect his skills and his game, you know? But he sounded a bit standoffish all the time when people are asked about Terence Crawford, you know, Errol gives that PC answer that, oh, well, I'm going to go home and spend time with my family, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Are you going to fight Crawford or not? You know, Crawford's undefeated too, buddy. You know, you might be the unified IBF and WBC champ, but Crawford is a WBO champion. You don't want that belt? You don't think Crawford's marketable enough? Because you want more eyeballs on the fight, but what you don't realize is that, and I'm talking to you, Errol, what you don't realize is that when two great boxers like yourself and Crawford come together, there's going to be eyeballs all over that shit. For sure. I know mine are going to be on it. So like I said, Terence Bud Crawford, WBO champ, multiple world champion in 3 different weight classes. I said it. And he's one of 4 boxers to hold the 4 major world titles simultaneously. If you don't know what those four world titles are, WBC, WBO, WBA, and IBF. Held them all. Didn't lose them, obviously. He just moved up weight classes. He just relinquished them, you know? So that's why I think Crawford right now, and he's champion right now, obviously, like I just said. Crawford is pound for pound best, in my opinion. And I think nobody wants to fight him, you know? I don't know if you guys saw the fight Crawford had with Kell Brook. I'm going to put it up right here. Disgusting. He beat the brakes off of Kell Brook. I mean, Kell Brook should never get in there again with a guy like Crawford. Seriously. I mean, after that beating, the guy goes by Special K. But after that beating, I wouldn't be surprised if he changed his moniker to Special Ed. I don't want to be insensitive. But the man took a beating. It was a very, very cold demonstration. Okay? But Crawford, his promoter's Bob Arum, okay? And if people don't know who Bob Arum is, he's been actually around the boxing world for as long as back when Muhammad Ali was going. Bob Arum was one of the promoters during that time. You know, he worked with Muhammad Ali. So Bob Arum has been a staple of the professional boxing world for quite some time now, to say the least. Bob Arum said that Crawford needs to get out there more and market himself more. That's his only gripe with Crawford. He said that Crawford's game is like a better Tommy Hitman Hearns. It's a bold statement. He's one of the 4 horsemen. If you don't know who the 4 horsemen are, Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, and one of my personal favorites, I can't even remember his name, and I just said he's one of my personal favorites. I'll come back to that. I don't want to spend too much time trying to jog my memory. I got a lot of stuff in my head right now. Roberto Duran. There we go. Can't believe that I didn't... Whatever. Anyways, so that's a bold statement. Arum says he's the new Hitman Hearns, a better version even. So, I mean, that might be true. Crawford is a beast. And like I said, that Kell Brook fight is just a chip off of the iceberg of his body of work. The man is something special in there. Crawford's 33 years old. Spence is 30. This is the perfect time to make that fight. Both undefeated. You know, 3 major world titles would be on the line. Man, I wish they could come together and book that fight. But I really don't know because obviously Errol Spence is with PBC. And obviously Crawford is with Bob Arum's promotion. I think it's Top Rank. Pretty sure. So if they can come together and make that fight, that would be amazing. That would be amazing for boxing or sporting fans everywhere. I guarantee during these times, and even if it wasn't these times, people would come out in droves or at least turn on their television sets in record-breaking numbers to witness that fight because somebody's O would have to go, in words of Conor McGregor. Anyhow, moving right along. Got a heavyweight championship bout coming up between... Okay, hold on. That's why I make notes, because I don't want to skip over anything. I wanted to make a comparison with Errol Spence and Anthony Joshua. See, a lot of people, are touting Errol Spence as the pound for pound best boxer. I feel like Errol Spence's reign right now, obviously he just unified the belts with Porter, accident, defended. Okay, it's not like he's fighting a bunch of fights. But I feel like fight the best fighters. Fight the best fighters. Don't fight guys that are top fighters but aren't the guy. Fight the guy. I know you're trying to build up your buzz, your marketability. Understandable. But I almost feel like fighters, and especially boxers, hold belts and title belts like ransom. They hold them because look what we had. We had Tyson Fury, right? Tyson Fury defeated Klitschko, won the belts, didn't do the rematch, lost the belts, still retained the lineal title. Okay? Then you got Deontay Wilder, who's the former WBC champion. Obviously, he was defeated by Tyson Fury. But before that occurred, people don't know, the fight that people were pandering for was Wilder versus Joshua. But Joshua wouldn't sign to take that fight. I know Matchroom and Eddie Hearn over there, they were making jokes saying, oh, this press conference has got more people at it than Wilder's last bout. Ha 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 ha. Sign the ticket. You know what I mean? You got 3 of the major titles. Fight Wilder for the WBC. Unify them all. No, because they want to ride high, and that's why they chose Andy Ruiz after their original opponent, Jarrell Big Baby Miller, popped for every freaking PED that there is. They chose Andy Ruiz because he's not visually pleasing. He doesn't look like some world beater. Turns out he was just a better boxer on that night, and put Joshua down, took his belts. What do you think would have happened if Wilder got in there? Okay, you do the math. So it was actually a smart move by them, but they were holding the belts ransom. Okay, they wanted to keep this world championship boxer, across the pond, while Wilder's over here in the US of A putting boys to bed. So, I don't know. Maybe, like I said, I'm not a promoter. I'm a fan. I just want to see the best fight the best. And that's why the UFC is so great, because they're all under the same banner. The best fight the best. Now, obviously, there's some gems out there, but they want to be in the UFC. Trust me. Unless they have already been there and left, and maybe they don't. But the ones that haven't been, they want to be on that stage. The UFC is the biggest stage. Let me not trail off. So all I'm saying is, Errol Spence, you got 2 of the major world titles. You're calling yourself the unified welterweight champion. Really unify that shit. Get in there with Terence Bud Crawford. Put your O against his O. Put your 2 belts against his belt. See what happens. And I'm going to say right now, I got Bud Crawford. 100%. 100%. So now I can segue into what I was trying to get to. The heavyweight bout that's coming up right now. I think it's, let me see, what's the date? It's December 12th of this year. That's actually in a couple days. It's this weekend. That's Kubrat Pulev versus Anthony Joshua. Okay, this is Anthony Joshua's first bout since redemption over in Abu Dhabi against Andy Ruiz, where he fought way smarter fight and just outboxed Ruiz, who obviously Ruiz wasn't prepared for that fight. The man came in very, very heavy, and he really didn't take that serious. I mean, the man made millions of dollars when he knocked out Joshua. I mean, I ain't hating on the guy. I think he's going to come back at some point and do something good, but he just wasn't prepared for the Joshua fight. I don't know if he would have won had he been prepared, but he just wasn't, and he got flat out outboxed. It wasn't close. Let's just put it that way. So we know about Joshua. knocked out Klitschko. He was like the darling of boxing for a while. Dr. Dre, Beats by Dre sponsored him. Like, so he was the guy. You know, obviously he had more belts than Wilder. He's getting more promotion than Wilder. And I'm saying Wilder because at the time Wilder was the guy, even though Tyson Fury is now the WBC champion. So, but enough about Wilder. Pulev, his record's 28-1. All right. The only guy he's been beat by is he was KO'd by Vladimir Klitschko in 2014. Oh, speaking of Vladimir Klitschko, where you at? Vladdy. Where you at, bub? Okay, anyways, I was going to introduce him. Got a new dog. Named him Vladimir. Not Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Klitschko. Okay, already got his brother out there, Vitaly. Anyways, let's go. Back to the point. What was the point? Oh, Pulev KO'd by Klitschko in 2014. The man's on an 8-fight win streak right now and was on a 20-fight win streak before that loss to Klitschko. So, definitely a good boxer. Definitely. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's definitely not going to be a runaway for Anthony Joshua. You know, he might put Pulev to bed. Who knows? He might get put to bed. So I'm saying that is a fight to check out. It's heavyweight boxing. It's for 3 of the major world titles in the sport. You know, December 12th, this weekend. Let's go. All right, we'll see what happens. And Tyson Fury, I want to bring him back up because that's the fight we're probably going to get. It's not looking like we're going to get Joshua versus Fury 3. Okay, not right now at least. And really, if Tyson Fury gets the Joshua bout, we might not see that fight at all because I wouldn't be surprised if Tyson Fury, if he wins, walking away from the sport. He wouldn't have anything to prove anymore. Why go back and risk it against Wilder again? To put the stamp on the things? Would he feel like he really needs to put the stamp on the things after that? I wouldn't. You know what I mean? He definitely don't need the money. Tyson Fury historically gives his purses away to charities. I mean, so obviously he's paid, you know? I know that's a tax write-off and all, but still, he's paid. Nobody just gives away millions of dollars and just, you know what I mean, just for the hell of it, you know? Shout out to Tyson Fury for that. That's very noble of him. So, what we got next here? All right. This is crazy. And what I'm talking about right now, every single week it seems like I'm talking about the Paul brothers and boxing. It's craziness. But yes, we are getting another exhibition bout, but this time it's going to be Floyd Money Mayweather versus Logan Paul. And I'm not kidding. That fight's happening. Been confirmed on both sides. Jake Paul even came out and said that he's going to pull off the biggest upset in the history of sports. And he's going to knock out Floyd Mayweather. Ha! Definitely not happening. Don't count on that. Did anybody see the bout with Logan Paul versus KSI? Logan didn't win that fight. So somehow he's going to get outboxed by KSI, a YouTube guy, and then go in there and knock out Floyd Mayweather? Listen, if you're going to watch the fight, just watch it because it's a damn circus. Don't watch it thinking that he's going to go in there and knock out Floyd Mayweather. It's not happening. He's not knocking out Floyd Mayweather. You couldn't even knock out KSI. You know what's going to happen? Floyd isn't even a knockout artist. But he's going to go in there and he's going to knock out Logan Paul. 1,000%. You know, so if you're going to watch the fight, watch it for that reason. Floyd is just so smart, seriously. And I'm just going to say a little bit about Floyd because his first bout after the Andre Berto fight where he became 49-0, he fought Conor McGregor, all right? And that was an actual sanctioned bout, an actual sanctioned boxing match. Not an exhibition, a boxing match. So the man's really 50-0 right now. But, you know, a lot of pundits, a lot of fans, a lot of, you know, everybody that cares enough to have an opinion still see him as 49-0. They don't give him the credit for that 50 because they might not want to, put him on the same level as Marciano. Or maybe they're just saying, or probably they just don't want to do that because he fought Conor McGregor, a mixed martial artist, not a boxer. So regardless of how you see it, 49-0, 50-0, whatever. But the fact is that Floyd is a very, very smart man. Smart. I'm going to get to that. 1 second. All right. He's a smart man because think about it. He built the Conor McGregor fight as an actual actual boxing match rather. And, there are people out there saying, oh, this is bad for the sport. This isn't real boxing, blah, 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 again. Okay, but Floyd Mayweather made so much money and so did Conor McGregor. So Floyd's like, okay, I'm going to do this again. But this time, I'm just going to call it an exhibition. And people still watched. People still paid. He still made a shit ton of money. And do you know who he competed against? Tenshin Nasukawa. Name means nothing to you, right? I got it right here. I know about it, but I want to be accurate. Listen, Tenshin Nasukawa is a beloved kickboxer, over in Japan. They love him. And the man is, here we go, 39-0. 30 knockouts. Kickboxing record. Undefeated in mixed martial arts. The man's never lost. Look, his amateur kickboxing career, 105-5 with one draw. That's his amateur career. 62 knockouts. Okay, that's amateur. So, Floyd Mayweather went in there and embarrassed him in front of his countrymen. Reduced him to tears. Google it. Mayweather, Tenshin Nasukawa, risen. And you're telling me that Logan Paul's going to come in here and knock out Floyd Mayweather? Miss me with that bullshit. Kill that noise. Not happening. But Floyd is so smart. He's got another guy with a following, a YouTube sensation, Logan Paul, and him on the marquee. He's going to make a lot more money. He shouldn't be making these paydays right now at his age. He's retired. He's making more money than every active boxer going right now. And that's why he stays on Forbes. It's crazy. You can hate Floyd Mayweather for all the things that people hate him for, the domestic violence, whatever. I'm not going to go into it. But the man is a genius in boxing. And I think that, Al Heyman has a lot to do with that. Like, he definitely does a lot to, move Floyd's career along. And he's actually the guy that is the bigwig in charge of PBC right now. So, anyways, and shout out to Leonard Ellerby. The man can dress, they say. Okay, I don't want to trail off. I know I always say that, but I don't want to trail off because I don't like for these podcasts to be very, very long. So let me get on to the next. But before I do that, the exhibition bout with Floyd and Logan is going to be February 20th, 2021. So look out for that one. I'll be watching. I'll be watching for the circus aspect of it, and I'll definitely be expecting a KO. Seriously. All right. So, got some things moving around in MMA. Definitely going to get to that. The UFC came out and said, well, they've already made some major cuts, but they've came out and said, Dana said that they're going to cut 60 more fighters, So, they've been releasing some big names, okay? I'm not talking about Rachel Ostrovich, not talking about her. Talking about Yoel Romero. Yoel Romero was released from the promotion with 3 fights left on his deal. One of the scariest guys in the UFC. Parted ways with the UFC. Let him go. Released him. Anderson Silva. You can say what you want about him. He's an MMA GOAT. Released from the UFC. The crazy thing about those two is that there is no interest in them. It's crazy. Bellator, no thanks. PFL, no thanks. BKFC, no thanks. 1FC, no thanks. Wow. I thought there would be, like Daniel Cormier said, I thought there would be a line for not just Yoel, but for Anderson as well. The most recent cut we got, which it was reported that they parted ways, you know what I mean, mutually. Anthony Rumble Johnson signed with Bellator, or he's about to sign. It's happening. Leaving the UFC, which is crazy because I wanted Johnson versus Jones, Johnson versus Ngannou. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get either of those fights. Who's he got over in Bellator to look forward to? Ryan Bader. Ryan Bader is a very, very good wrestler. I mean, he's got knockout power too. I mean, he was knocking boys out and undefeated before he ran into John Jones. And John Jones got his title shot right after beating Ryan Bader. Anyhow, Ryan Bader, a really, really solid fighter who could have fought DC for the light heavyweight title in the UFC before he was released. But anyhow, Ryan Bader became the Bellator 205-pound champion, defeating Phil Mr. Wonderful Davis, another UFC guy, another fighter, one of my favorites. Beat him. Then he went to the tournament, the heavyweight Grand Prix tournament. And you can say whatever level this tournament was, you know what I mean? I'll let you judge, you know, what level it is. But these are the names he beat. He beat, and I don't have notes for this, so I'm just going flat out by memory. I know that he beat Fedor Emelianenko, and he beat him, knocked him out. Fedor didn't land a glove on him, and I don't think Bader got a glove landed on him during the whole tournament. I really don't. Let me see if I can pull this up because I can't remember who he beat. Shame on me. Bader ran through this tournament though. Nobody gave him any competition. But while I'm looking this up, I will say this. Bader has since been destroyed by Vadim Ninkov. So he's lost his 205-pound title. He's still the heavyweight champion, ironically. So, you know, Anthony Rumble Johnson can come in there and either, you know, knock out, you know, Vadim Ninkov, who is a primarily, you know, striking fighter. I wouldn't strike with Anthony Johnson. I just really wouldn't. Or he can go up to heavyweight and try to take that belt off of Ryan Bader. The only thing I think about that is that Ryan Bader, like I said, is a really good wrestler. And Anthony Rumble Johnson, knocking boys out. But DC, you know, Rumble Johnson landed flush on DC, you know. But DC had that championship mentality, that championship aspect about his heart and will and determination, and he grinded Rumble Johnson out and choked him out. Vitor Belfort did the same thing back in the day, back when Rumble Johnson was cutting enormous amounts of weight, you know? So all I'm saying is, if Bader can implement that wrestling game and stay away from the striking, he could very well control and win that fight. That would definitely be a good fight to take to watch. It's not signed or anything, but I know it's a potential bout that could be on the dais very, very soon. So yeah, let me see here. I still haven't pulled up Bader's little record here. Here we go. And by the way, Bader was look, he's won 3 Pac-10 championships at Arizona State, so, in wrestling in college. So, like I said, really, really good wrestler. Now, that tournament. There we go. That's the name I couldn't remember. He beat Matt Mitrione and Mo Lawal. TKO at Mo Lawal. Decision Mitrione. Pretty much took him down at will and beat on him for the whole fight. And then destroyed Fedor in 35 seconds. Yeah. So, again, Anthony Joshua there's too many Anthonys. Anthony Johnson, Anthony Rumble Johnson coming in here. I guarantee you he's going to make some damn noise. But Bellator, shame on you for not signing Yoel Romero or Anderson Silva. Somebody needs to get on the train. I want to see both of them compete high level. I don't want to see them against, taxi drivers. All right. So that's that. Moving right along to the last thing that's going on, and this is, lightly associated with combat sports because a professional boxer is involved. A former professional boxer, a since retired professional boxer, Vivian Obinoff, who had a 14-6 record in boxing with seven KOs. She challenged for a world title 3 times, fell short on all 3 times. Okay? The reason why I'm even bringing her up, never a world champion, not a very solid record, is because she was arrested this month when her 61-year-old husband was found dead due to what was called a vicious and violent assault. Now, her husband, 61 years old. She's 34. So obviously, her husband is a lot more elderly than she is, okay? She's a retired boxer. She beat the brakes off of this man. I don't know if charges have been filed, but why would they arrest her? I mean, they definitely have filed the charges. So I don't know what occurred in that household. All I'm saying is that, getting hit I don't know if there was a history of violence. I don't know the story. I just know that when you're a boxer or somebody that's taking a lot of strikes to the head, with regularity, it could really, really fuck with your mental. You know what I mean? And I can't speak for it. I'm not a boxer. I mean, the only hits I took to the head were in football. And it wasn't with that much regularity. So, there's probably some CTE. But all I'm saying is that she probably snapped. And I wouldn't say that if she was never a professional boxer, I don't think she would have been able to viciously. I really can't say. And I'm definitely not trying to put it on boxing as to why she had the ability to beat this man to death. Because I do think in the report they said something about a blunt force object, but that could have been these. A professional boxer, they can't really get into fights in the street because their hands are registered. Like mine. I don't know. I don't know why I brought that up. I'm just saying that shit is nuts. Like, she beat this man to death. And if that comes out to be not true, I'm sorry, but she got arrested. I haven't heard anything about her getting released. So I'm saying it's true here on Champ Rounds. And yeah, again, sorry it took me so long to come back. 10-hour shifts. But I think we got a good fight coming up in the UFC. I'm going to bring a guy on here that I think is absolutely hilarious soon. And yeah, that pretty much does it. So thanks for tuning in. Again, subscribe. And until next time, as always, stay frosty.